27 million. Now, that's a pretty big number, but what does it mean? Well, that's how many slaves there are in the world today. In fact, there are more slaves today than at any other point in history. This is the shocking truth of the age that we all live in today. This is modern-day slavery. This is human trafficking. Human trafficking is defined as the illegal activity of forcing and transporting people into slavery. This crime occurs in countries all over the world, and even the United States. From California to New York, from China to New Zealand, human trafficking has evidence of being a global issue. People often become victims of human trafficking in poor, undeveloped countries. The reason for this is that the criminals falsely promise their victims a better life, when in actuality, they're being fooled into becoming modern-day slaves. Victims can also be simply kidnapped for the purpose of forced labor, organ removal, and even sex exploitation when it comes to women. Victims can be of any age or gender, so even children are forced into this crime. Yes, children. There are many countries that serve as a base for human trafficking, but for now, let's focus on a country that's commonly overlooked when it comes to this issue. Thailand. A country filled with beautiful culture and history, but that doesn't exempt it from the horrible crime that is human trafficking. The most common type of human trafficking in Thailand is sex exploitation, which is the forced sexual activity of women. Here's how it usually goes down. When the women are tricked or forced into becoming slaves, they usually resort to prostitution. This means that they are forced to perform sexual activity for an income to support themselves or their families. Men pay the traffickers money for a short time to rape their victims, and there are times when these men don't pay the full price, which means it could take months for the victims to get the money they need. I know this seems like a lot to take in, but there is a solution to this problem. Yes, there is a way to stop human trafficking. The real question is simply this: what could you do? What could one little person possibly do to take on such a huge issue like human trafficking? Well, first of all, we all need to realize that we are not alone. If we were to all stand against this crime together, as one body, we could make a huge impact on the world. One simple way to fight human trafficking is to raise awareness. In the last 20 years, awareness has drastically increased, but even more awareness would be a huge help. You could write stories and letters and place them publicly all around the area that you live. You could also get together with a group of people and have fun activities for raising money for organizations that fight against human trafficking. For example, recently my church started having something called Tribe Nights. People get together into tribes or teams and compete in various sports and competitions. Everyone brings about $5, and all the money goes to organizations such as Stop Child Trafficking Now, whose sole purpose is to free children who are victims of human trafficking. It costs approximately $30 to track, find, and free a child who is victimized in human trafficking due to the cost of equipment. But in the last Tribe Night, my church raised over $300 for Stop Child Trafficking Now, which means that 10 children were eternally freed from the horrible experience that is human trafficking. And we did it just by playing volleyball together and having fun. Sure, 10 children seems pretty small when you're thinking of 27 million people worldwide. But imagine if 7 billion people, or the entire world, were to partake in activities like this. Human trafficking would be eradicated for good. We have to realize that we can make a big change when we stand together. So let's stand together for those who can't stand up for themselves. Let's rid the world of human trafficking.